the 7.
And it's going to be, they're going to mark him down at the 8, so make it 3rd and 5.
Okay.
Are you thinking a draw?
Well, I think you're going to get Trey. I think you're going to get Trey. No, I think you're going to get Trey off the right side. They're coming out in that diamond set again. I think Trey's going to go over the right side.
Well, they're going to give it to Williams behind, and look at the hole that Williams had. He meets up ahead, and a nice job by Trayvon Wrench. Sealed the inside, and Williams had, it was like Noah parting the Red Sea.
How about Williams running, too? Boy, he looked dangerous coming through that hole, too.
I could have ran through, all due respect to Williams, I could have ran through that hole and made 5 yards.
You know, that was a play that reminded me a lot of last year where Coach started running across the formation, giving it to his back half. That was Brett Jensen.
Yeah, he liked doing it. He was very good at that.
Yeah, he sure was.
Toss to Wrench to the right side. Have a flag on the play. Probably going to have holding.
This has been a really...
As Bovitz is getting up slow on the far side.
Yeah. Really clean game as far as penalty flags have gone tonight. A couple offside penalties, but other than that, you haven't seen too many of these big major holding penalties or things like that. So, boy, this comes at a very untimely time, though, for the Blazers. They're getting out of their own end, deep in their own end, and this is going to back them up, probably bring up 1st and 20.
So they're going to mark it down at the 10-yard line. First down marker is at about the 12, so it's going to be 1st and 22.
Actually,
or check that.
18. Yeah.
No, it's at the 28. Mark it down at the 10. Yep, 18, my fault. Clock running at 8 minutes, 1st and 10. Or 1st and 18. Hobby dives one man, tries to cut it back inside, gets something out of nothing. He'll get back to the line of scrimmage.
That's a distinct difference in this year's team right there. Jared he got out of pressure, got out of the, escaped a little bit there, but really wasn't much of a threat to do too much. Last year, of course, with Bubba Starling back there, that could have been a huge play for the Blazers, and they did that many times, which really puts a lot of pressure on your defense when you've got to spy the quarterback. Oh,
as get the handoff to Austin Goldsmith on the trap. He tries to shake a Husky. He's going to be down at about the 16-yard line, and it's going to be 3rd and long for the Blazers. And this is a situation probably next year or maybe the year after. I'm sure next year that Coach Diener will have a little bit more secured feelings in the passing game where he'll start hitting those short hitch patterns or something, the quick slants to get out of that 1st and 18 look.
Yeah, that very well. You remember last year when we would be 3rd and 18 and we would say, this is probably a bad thing for the defense.
Exactly. They they fake the handoff, give it to Wrench up the middle. He is gone. He's at the 50, the 40, the 30, 20, 10, 5. Touchdown Blazers on a 3rd and 11. A 74-yard touchdown run for Trayvon Wrench.
I tell you what, that kid is special now. We've said that many times, but he is one of those guys that you give him an inch and he will go ahead and take the mile because he has the ability to do that. Trayvon Wrench going to near 300 yards rushing now.
295 according to the Wallimeister.
295 or 625 in the 3rd quarter, and he is fast approaching the number 3 best rushing yardage total in Blazer history for one game. That 313 by Bubba Starling last year. So hang on, we might be in record-setting mode here before this thing's done.
Extra point by Chase Lee is good. 6:25 to go in the 3rd quarter. Blazers lead 29-7 over Blue Valley Southwest. We'll be back with a kickoff. You're listening to 810 Varsity Sports and the Blazer Broadcast Network.
These are just a few of the sponsors of the Blazer Broadcast Network.
Wally's Neighborhood Grill. Have breakfast with Coach Diener and Coach Henry every Saturday mornings at 9 during the Coach's Show. Wally's Neighborhood Grill, 808 East Main in Gardner.
Ace Dent Removal. For the best in hail dent and door ding removal, call Terry at 485-2524. Nothing beats an Ace. Nothing.
Anytime Fitness. See Doug Karsten for their great membership prices. Call 856-0100.
These are just a few of the sponsors of the Blazer Broadcast Network.
Trayvon Wrench goes 84 yards on a 3rd and 11 to give the Blazers a 29-7 lead over Blue Valley Southwest. And we had mentioned it last week against Southwest that Trayvon Wrench was just a couple, trips here and there away from a couple long touchdown runs, and he's already almost at the 3-bill mark right now.
Well, out of 4, this is the 5th game of the season. Trey's already got 2 games where he's over 3 of the 5 games, he's over 200 yards.
As Starks gets this one at the 18-yard line, up the right hash mark. This little spin move gets away from Plank across the 30-yard line. He's going to be brought down by Chase Lee. And I'm telling you, as you mentioned, Dave, that Starks kid, he's pretty good.
Wow, how about Chase Lee getting down there and hustling around, and he missed him the first time around, but kept right after him. Wally just shared with me that the Blue Valley Northwest offensive total for the night's only 249, and Trey's setting at 295 just by himself. So, boy, that kind of puts it in perspective. And this is a good Blue Valley Northwest football team. There's no question about it. So I know Coach Diener and his crew have got to be really, really excited about being up 29-7 with 6 minutes to go here in the 3rd quarter. Ryan, we talked about how important this game was, a pivotal game for the Blazers to kind of might be a season hinging type of a game. And boy, have they come out answering the bell tonight.
Fake the handoff, give it to Mitchell, but he's going to be brought down behind the line of scrimmage hard. Initial contact by Justin Long in the backfield.
Well, the defensive coaches talked all week about how they were going to dial up some different blitz packages, and they were going to bring the heat because they knew Fugate, you could not let him sit back there and just pick you apart, which he's certainly capable of doing. Coach Diener been mixing up, Coach Henry been mixing up those defensive calls all night. Sometimes he brings both inside backers, sometimes he brings both outside backers, or a combination of the 4, and he's been doing that very successfully all night.
2nd and 14, Fugate with a slant pass to Starks. Pass incomplete, just a little bit low.
You got to wonder right now, Ryan, if some of the historical memories of the 63-14 pasting that was delivered last year by the Blazers is starting to come back and refresh itself in the minds of some of these Blue Valley Northwest players. They're starting to struggle a little bit right now, looks like, with their confidence.
Twins to both sides, Mitchell in the backfield. As Fugate looks over to get a signal from the sideline. Clock at 5:36, 29-7 Blazers rolling out to the right side. Fugate's going to pull back. He's going to get a pass complete. It's going to be complete to Swales as he's down the right side down to the sideline. Austin Goldsmith. And if I believe right, because I was busy watching Fugate, that was almost like a wheel route. Because Fugate went forward and came back as they knew he was pretty close to the line of scrimmage. And you can hear the coaches on the Gardner side, they're thinking he was beyond the line of scrimmage, but there's no flags on the play, so the play goes all the way down to the 23-yard line of the Blazers.
Well, those defensive backs have got to be so disciplined. We saw Coach's scout sheet, and one thing he's got in big capital letters is no one gets beat deep. And those secondary people have got to, there's always going to be 2 or maybe 3 guys responsible for the deep half or third of a football field, and they can't come up on those.
Here's another complete pass to Swales, as he's not going to get much on the play. Give him about 2 yards on the pass.
And even though the Blazers have played really, really good defense all night, I know it's got to be a little bit frustrating for Coach Henry because it could be so much better if they could just stay disciplined. And on one hand, you can't fault the kids because they're coming up. They want to get in the play. They want to swarm to the football. But on the other hand, by doing that, they're being selfish and taking on somebody else's responsibility, and then at the risk of their own, and if they ever get beat, it costs them a touchdown.
Here's a sideline pass, incomplete in the end zone, pass intended for Jay Coble.
Nice.
Colton Peavyhouse on the coverage.
Really nice coverage there, Ryan. Colt ran inside. He never did look back at the football, and that's always a tough thing to teach defensive backs to do, is to read the eyes of the receiver and know when to turn their head. And And I think when in doubt, they just go ahead and keep looking at the receiver, and that's not a bad tactic all the time either. The pretty special receiver's got to be able to jump up. Well,
and they tried a trick play on there, but we're going to have a false start.
They've made enough big plays to kind of make the stat book look good, but boy, they have shot themselves in the foot.
And without those few big plays that they've had, they would not be, the stat book would not look as good.
The route would be on. There is no question about it. The wheels just seem to come off. They have a hard time sustaining the drives, which makes the score tonight even that much more impressive, because we know this Northwest team came back and they held their ground last week against a really stout Aquinas team. So, boy, this is just a good night of football for the Blazers so far.
Rolling out to the right side is Fugate. He's going to take it on his own. He goes head to head, just lowers the shoulder. And I think that was Aviles he went head to head with. No, that was Long.
That was Long. Justin Long. What a great play by Justin Long. He had a receiver out in the flats. Here come Fugate come running around the right end. Looked like it was going to be a for sure quarterback sweep. Justin couldn't come up, because if he did, he was going to leave his receiver wide open. He forced Fugate to cross the line. Then when he did, boy, he just discarded the defense or the offensive receiver. Come up, made a great tackle on Fugate in the open field.
So 4th and 5 from the 17-yard line of the Blazers for the Huskies. Trips to the wide side. They need to get some kind of production here and get back in the game, as we're going to have a timeout called. Huskies going to take a timeout. We'll take one too. 4:31 to go in the third quarter. Blazers lead 29-7. We'll be back. You're listening to the Blazer Broadcast Network on KC or 810 Varsity Sports.
These are just a few of the sponsors of the Blazer Broadcast Network.
Wally's Neighborhood Grill. Have breakfast with Coach Diener and Coach Henry every Saturday mornings at 9 during the Coaches Show. Wally's Neighborhood Grill, 808 East Main in Gardner.
Ace Dent Removal. For the best in hail dent and door ding removal, call Terry at 485-2524. Nothing beats an Ace. Nothing.
Anytime Fitness. See Doug Karstens for their great membership prices. Call 856-0100.
These are just a few of the sponsors of the Blazer Broadcast Network.
Ryan Reckman, Dave Webb, Wally and Duck back with you here at Gardner Edgerton at the Trails West Ace Hardware and Feed broadcast booth, as the Huskies face a 4th and 5 on the Blazers 17-yard line, down 29-7, as they had to take a timeout. And evidently there was some confusion on the play that they were calling.
Well, you certainly wouldn't want to risk some guys not knowing what the play is on 4th and 5 at this critical juncture, Ryan, and because they didn't understand the hand signals from the sideline. So much a good call by Northwest.
Fugate looking off the left side. He was looking on the slant for Swales, and it looked like Swales might have stopped his route a little bit.
And I think you're right, because you look at Fugate, he's looking at him and pointing to him like, what are you doing, man? You got to keep running that route.
Keep going, not a hook.
We didn't say stop. That was a go route
because we know Fugate's not going to miss a receiver by 5 yards, and that's about as far as he missed him.
You know, and another smart call there, I thought, or by our defender back there, I don't know if that was Goldsmith, that was one of the safeties, and he dropped it. He didn't catch it. It was 4th down. Go ahead and let that ball hit the ground and then get the ball back up at the original line of scrimmage.
So Dye and Williams, the blocking backs for Wrench, fake the handoff. Hobby looking downfield, going for the gusto, looking for Ryan Getzman. Nice coverage on the play by Jake Coble, looking back, and he just smashed him step for step.
Well, Coach Diener's a little bit upset with Jared on that one, because Jared didn't throw it nearly on time. He had him open about 10 steps earlier, and Jared kind of went back there, and all the while he's waiting to cock that gun of his, that guy's getting farther and farther away, and he ended up just kind of underthrowing him. But he had him early if he'd let it go.
And Diener's over there talking to Getzman also. Williams with the ball, looking for a hole. He goes behind his linebacker.
Well, I think the record
would have been his linebacker, now the tight end.
That was the play that they ran here, trying to get out of the hole on the last series with Marcus lined up as a right half. Well, that's
as
not
Williams
good.
Gets up limping.
He's going to be all right. Looks like he's running it off.
Yeah.
I think the stat record watch is officially on now. 3rd down and about 7. You got to think Trey might get a shot here. What he needs about 13 yards to get into or check that, 18 yards.
Rolling out to the right side is Hobby looking downfield.
Oh, nice play.
Nice play by Ryan Getzman with a pass complete at the 30-yard line. As Ryan Pottinger was in on the coverage.
Well, that's an age-old play there from out of Coach Diener's playbook. It's a boot pass, and he boots him out to the right side. He's got the tight end going out to the short flats. He's got the backside flood. It's a flood route over on the right side. He's got the receiver clearing deep, so he's got 3 different depths to find, and Hobby found Getzman in that middle seam.
Ball's going to get down to about the 35-yard line. As you were talking about the rushing in a single game, 395 by Starling last year against Blue Valley in the sub-state game. So when you get into, it's kind of like that groove that Coach Diener was talking about. If you can get into that groove and that rhythm, with that front line, it's a pretty thing to watch.
Yeah, it sure is. So, and they've been doing a really nice job. This is about the second game this line has been intact, and they're starting to develop some chemistry, it looks like.
Seymour on the jet behind Wrench. Cuts it back to the right side over the 45-yard line. He's going to be down at the 46, another Blazer first down.
I tell you, that is a scary play from a defensive coordinator's perspective.
You got a fast blocker and a fast runner.
You sure do. You've got an extremely fast runner coming out there, and it looks like Timmy is just capable of just breaking that off for a long one every time he touches it. So nice execution there. Another first down for the Blazers.
2:24 on the clock. Blazers up 29-7. Toss sweep to the right side. Now Kenner's back inside is Wrench, as he's going to be down at the 49-yard line.
Trey took a shot there. Really nice play. Like that. Might have been the inside linebacker, number 47, come up, Demetrius Abernathy. 6'3", 223-pound linebacker. Came up really hammered Trey as he tried to cut that toss sweep back to the inside.
Clock at 1:48, 2nd and 8. Wrench, or check that, I think that's Clayton Dye with the ball. That's either Clayton Dye or Williams, and that's Dye with the carry.
31 is the ball carrier.
As we'll have to check in. I don't see Williams on the sideline getting doctored up, so he must be okay.
Well, Trayvon Wrench is coming out. There's Williams down at the end of the line. He looks like he's all right. 3rd down and about 6 or 7 here.
It looks like he's trying to stretch out a cramp. 1:14 on the clock, out of the shotgun. Hobby looking downfield. He's got a man complete, a nice catch.
Jermaine Lang with a beautiful catch.
Stretching out for it.
Beautiful pass by Jared Hobby. Boy, Jared rolls out to the right, sets his feet, and just lofts a picture-perfect pass over a well-defended Jermaine Lang right there for another first down. That was 3rd and 7. Marcus Williams wasn't in the game. Trayvon Wrench wasn't in the game. That was a certain passing situation that the Blazers made no bones about it just by their lineup. We're gonna throw it, and boy, they did a great job.
Wrench counters back to the inside. He's going to get hit at the line of scrimmage, maybe a yard on the play.
Ball carrier number 20, Wrench.
And with this game, with McPherson coming in next week, it's a good momentum builder, and it's going to put the Blazers in a good attitude and a good state of mind, knowing that they went up a good quality Northwest team, and they're just going to have a little bit more positive feedback going into the McPherson game next week. Hobby trying to bounce out to the right side. He's dragging a Husky behind him.
Well, I don't know
as
what.
Pangasser tried to bring Wrench down.
I don't know if they made some adjustments or not on the defensive side, but Trey, the last 4 carries, has really found getting yardage a little bit tough after he's rattled off 295 pretty easy.
That's going to be the end of the third quarter with the Blazers leading 29-7. We'll be back with the fourth quarter. You're listening to the Blazer Broadcast Network on 810 Varsity Sports.
These are just a few of the sponsors of the Blazer Broadcast Network.
Prestige Poker League. Join Prestige Poker League Tuesday nights at 7 at Tumbleweeds.
Let your used and unused cell phones benefit your selected not-for-profits. Recycle them through Integrity Communications today. 408 East Main in Gardner.
Golden Goose Floral, not just flowers, also see them for your tux rental needs. Golden Goose Floral, 404 East Main, across from Big O Tires.
These are just a few of the sponsors of the Blazer Broadcast Network.
Ryan Ragland, Dave Webb, Duck, and Wally back here at Gardner Edgerton at the Trails West Ace Hardware and Feed broadcast booth as we're getting set to start the fourth quarter with the Blazers leading 29-7.
Another great crowd here tonight, Ryan. Blazer Nation always loves it when the Blazers are in town.
And don't forget Wally's overtime after the game. And of course, Duckster is going to be there.
Oh yeah, overtime, Wally's.
And this is after
$4.99 burger baskets right after chicken fried steak.
Exactly.
Who wouldn't be there?
Hobby looking downfield. He's got Tim Seymour wide open at the 19-yard line. Another first down for the Blazers, and Hobby looks like he's just starting to come into his own a little bit.
Well, Coach Diener taking the opportunity 29-7 to work on the passing game a little bit, thinking that Northwest, and Northwest has been stacking the box on Trayvon, so if you're going to do that, you've got to be able to throw it, and Jared really showing right now the ability to make that defense pay if they're going to crowd the box like they are.
Clock 11:40 in the rest in the game. Seymour tried it, was going to bounce it out, didn't have any room, tried to cut it back inside.
Yeah. Looked like we got the snap a little early that time. Jared, usually that jet sweep comes by right at the time of the snap, and Jared has to make a really fast handoff there. That time it was pretty obvious. He got the snap, and then he had to wait a count or two before Seymour ever got there. Coaches are over there talking to him right now like about that timing of that particular play, it looks like.
So 2nd and 11, a yard loss on the carry by Seymour. Diamond set in the backfield. Fake the handoff, rolling down, and pass going to be, as he was getting, it's going to be incomplete, as Brennan Bolin was applying the pressure on Hobby.
Well, they've had that play well defended all night. Jared tried that on the third play from scrimmage and had kind of had about the same result, where the ball was batted down and well defended out there by big number 93. Oh,
63-0, Blue Valley up on North.
Wow, there's a statement.
As Hobby takes the ball to the right side, tries to cut back to the inside across the 10. He's going to be tripped up down at the 6. First and goal for the Blazers.
What a nice run by Jared Hobby. Brings up first and goal, doesn't it, Ryan?
First and goal.
Jared just tucked that one, had a little seam over here on the right side. I don't know if he had, if that was a designed quarterback keeper call all the way, but he sold it kind of as a pass enough that it spread out that secondary, and he had a nice lane to run around the right end.
Wrench with the ball, bounces out to the outside, tries to cut it in, almost had it.
Oh, I thought they were going to, it looked like they're saying his foot was out of bounds. It looked like he touched the pylon with the football.
Yeah, but he's going to be out of bounds at the 3, so make it 2nd and goal. And my guess, if I'm thinking my guess, a naked boot?
No, you're going to get 3 doses of power off the right side.
You don't think he'll go play action?
No.
Okay.
But
well, now he's sending Goldsmith out. And he's got Bovitz on the left side.
It's not going to the right
Williams.
side. It's going to go to the left side, looks like.
So power left. Toss to Wrench. Falling behind Goldsmith. Smashes at the goal line. Late signal. And in for touchdown Blazers. Trayvon Wrench with a 2-yard touchdown run. Makes the score 35-7 Blazers with 10:30 to go in the game.
Well, that was just a really, really nice drive by the Blazers. That drive really benefited from the pass. So the Blazers showing that they can move the ball on the ground, but if you're going to stack up the box, they'll make you pay through the air as well.
Blazers drive 83 yards for the score. The extra point is up and good as the Blazers now lead by the score of 36-4. I want to remind everybody, one of the proud sponsors of A10 Varsity Sports is Good Sense. Go to MrGoodSense.com and you can order your sandwich online and have it delivered to you. That's MrGoodSense.com. Remember, you can use your reward card at Best Buy and receive a $20 discount off any purchase up to $50. All the details are listed down at BestBuy.com. Remember, after tonight's game, we have overtime at Wally's, $4.99 burger baskets, and then we have the Coaches Show tomorrow morning at 9 o'clock on the Blazer Broadcast Network, live at Wally's with Coach Henry and Coach Diener. And don't forget I like to call it the artery attack, the Blazer, which is, let's see, you got bacon, eggs, biscuits, gravy. Am I making you hungry, Duck?
Dude, that is fantastic.
The Blazer platter.
Dude, I'm telling you right now, you go in there, you're like, dude, I'm starving. You get one, you're going out there going, oh.
Exactly.
Dude, it's fantastic.
Chase Lee kicks the ball off, kind of a knuckler to the left side. They're going to let it go out of bounds at the 10 as they're going to bring it up to the 35-yard line.
Ryan, around the state, there's some interesting contests going on. McPherson, who will be playing next week, comes into tonight's action 4-0, and they're going up against another 4-0 team, Arc City, Class 5A. There's only 5 teams in Class 5A undefeated so far. Schlegel, surprisingly, 4-0. Arc City, 4-0. Mill Valley, 4-0. Mill Valley really putting up some nice offensive numbers. Obviously, they're competitive. They've been playing. They've opened with Lansing. They've played Bonner, Tongi, and
they got Piper tonight.
And they got Piper tonight. So the level of competition, not quite obviously the EKL level, but McPherson, Arc City, both undefeated at 4-0. That'll be an interesting contest.
Fugate's going to keep it on the high snap. He gets across the 40-yard line, brought down by Alex Winkler. Lanes up ahead to the 42-yard line.
I don't know if anybody caught the score last week. Hutch was 2-1 going up against Salina Central, who was 3-0 last week. And it was kind of interesting to see. It was going to be a little bit of a gauge of Salina Central as well as Hutch.
They got a reality check.
66-35, Hutch wins that ball game. So Hutch only loss on the year is to Rockhurst. So they're starting to look pretty powerful over on the west side.
Fugate looking deep, but the pass is going to be overthrown. Pass intended for Swales. Clock stops at 9:48.
Winkler doing a nice job on, and you know, he has just been getting more and more comfortable back there at the safety position. They tried Winkler at corner there for one game. That didn't work out quite as well as they thought. They moved Justin Long back to corner and Winkler back to safety. And boy, he's always been a big hitter, but he's doing a nice job in coverage as well tonight.
Running trips to the left side. 3rd and 3 from the 42-yard line. High snap, handoff. Goes to Pangasser, but he's not going to get much on the play. And it's going to be 4th down. And this is a situation the Huskies really don't want to be in, 4th and 2 with the defense where they have not been able to run the ball very much tonight.
They've had a couple of these 4th down situations tonight, and they've not been all that successful. So,
and they're going to come out and punt the ball.
Yeah.
Well, pretty much for the Blazers, this is exactly what the doctor ordered. And against a quality team like Northwest, playing well, coming off a nice win over St. Thomas Aquinas.
It's got to cause Aquinas to set up and take note.
I was about ready to say that. As the ball rolls past the 25-yard line, down at about the 24.
Well, Blue Valley Northwest will have to certainly pick up the pieces because they're going to go into Blue Valley, or they're going to play Blue Valley High next week, and Blue Valley High just putting it all over Blue Valley North, an earlier opponent of this Blue Valley Northwest Husky team that they defeated 34-17. So Blue Valley High up 66-0 the last we heard. So Blue Valley Northwest is they're going to have to pick up the pieces.
And we'll have to check and see if we can get a score from the Miege St. Thomas game, because after that they travel down to Webb City, Missouri.
Yeah.
On a return match that Webb City gave them started their losing streak last year. And if you remember right, that started the losing streak, and then they had the ESPNU game right here, which was, I guess, quite entertaining, as a lot would say.
Goldsmith gained 6 on first down, resulting in 2nd and 4 to go.
So 2nd and 4 from the 30-yard line, 8.5 to go in the game. As Hobby is waiting for the play clock to run down, Wrench with it. Tries to lead by one man. He's going to be brought down by Pangasser.
Well, Coach Diener has said that Trayvon's got to get he's got to get comfortable carrying the ball 30 times because he's going to get the ball 30 times. And right now, Trey looks like he is much more comfortable in the first half of his football games. That's when he's fresh. That's when he doesn't have to feel the pain of the bumps and bruises that certainly come with carrying the football at the 5 and 6A level. And Coach is not backing off. He continues to give. Well, there's another long count by Jared Hobby. It looks like he pulled the defensive line off, and if it did, it's going to be a first down for the Blazers.
As the refs are conferring down at the ball. Sometimes it'd be kind of interesting to be a Nat in a conversation, one of those.
Well, it's the Blue Valley Northwest guys are kind of hanging around the huddle. It'd be interesting.
And they're going to say it was a false start against the Blazers.
Looks like they're going to say delay a game.
Huh. I'm not sure if you want to cut it that close.
Boy, that's I think the delay game happened before he said hut kind of a conversation that drew the defense offside.
All righty. Well, 3rd and 9 from the 25, 7:28 to go.
What's the score? Let's go with the underdog.
36-7?
Yeah. So let's go with the 7 guy.
Okay.
Back up the 36 guys.
Fake the handoff on a little hook pattern going for Getzman. And it was Coble on the coverage.
Coach might have been wanting some defensive interference on that particular play. Jared is just a little bit late with the throw there. He tried to force it into Getzman, but it was just the timing just not quite right. Brings up 4th down, so first time in a while we've had back-to-back punts.
We've had to punt.
First couple of drives of the game.
Here's Long with the punt. Back deep is going to be Stone, and he's going to let it roll across the 30-yard line.
Boy, he thought about picking it up, but then he thought better of it.
Update from Bishop Miege. St. Thomas Aquinas is up 24-20. It was 18-13 at the half. Miege scored a touchdown in the 3rd quarter. And not sure if there was a missed field goal, but St. Thomas has 6 points in the 3rd as they are in the 4th.
Wow.
70-6. Blue Valley over Blue Valley North.
And that's a team that had Blue Valley High had all they could handle against
Southwest in the first half.
Well, last week against Bishop Miege.
Right. Taking out some frustration. As Fugate was trying to get it to Starks, and Starks evidently was not on the, check that. That's not Fugate. That is Windsor, who is now in at quarterback.
Yeah, and that change of quarterback cost him a touchdown because Fugate would have gone long. Starks, that's an option route that he's running off the slot. If he thinks the defender is playing him too deep, then he just stops his route and breaks off and and they throw the short route. If he thinks he's too tight and he can run by him, he does. And that time he did. He ran right by Alex Winkler, but the quarterback threw the short one.
We're going to have a flag before the snap. One other score in the EKL, Blue Valley West leading Southwest by a score of 14-10.
Southwest just slowly but surely reining in some of the veteran league members, aren't they?
And they are moving up to 5A next year also.
Yep, that's right.
So if you're going to make a charge in 4A, now's the time to do it.
Yeah, particularly before McPherson drops back down. Oh.
And now we went for a slant to Starks.
Did the same thing.
Did the same thing, except threw it behind him.
Well, Starks
was on a go route.
Yep.
Now he's on a slant and threw it behind him on both ways. I guess that would go back to the old adage, don't throw it where he's at, throw it where he's going to be.
Yeah.
Well, you cannot argue with that. And Wally's over here laughing.
Well, I'm throwing it where he's at because that's where he is.
Not where he's not at right now.
Oh,
here's Windsor looking deep. He's got a man open. Pass was intended for Moses. And Windsor has a nice arm on a go route down the sideline, as it's going to be 4th and 15. Has the clock to stop at 6:53. Back deep is Goldsmith and Getzman, as here's a high snap over Strolls, as he's going to go ahead and get it in time enough to punt it away, and he's going to get a pretty good kick out of it, as it's going to roll across the 50 down to the 46 of the Blazers.
I can't help but think they've got a new center in place for this game. They cannot have been as effective and as efficient as they've been all year and had this kind of dilemma with their long snapper. Their long snapper has snapped 2 over the punter's head. He's snapped 4 or 5 of them short on the quarterback. And, boy, that's really contributed to some woeful plays for this Blue Valley Northwest offense. But not to take anything away from the Blazer defense.
No.
They have certainly stepped up and done their part as well, but that hasn't helped Northwest at all.
Seymour with the ball around the left side, tries to cut it back inside, breaks a couple tackles, leans up ahead. He's down at the 46-yard line of the Huskies.
Some of the Blazer boys are going to be sore and tired tomorrow. A lot of them going both ways. You see big Brent Bovitz going back out there to play some tight end. He's always been such a hard effort, a big effort guy on defense. Now he gets 15, 20 more plays on the offensive side of the football. Marcus Williams playing a lot more both ways. There's going to be some boys that put in a good performance tonight, and they're going to feel it tomorrow.
6 minutes on the clock. Toss sweep. Wrench cuts it back inside. Gets sat on about the 41.
He's getting close to 300 there, statistician, while he's over that.
Running up to
315. That puts him ahead of Bubba Starling's impressive 313 game last year, and moves Trayvon into the top 2 of the top 3 rushing games in Blazer history are now owned by Trayvon Wrench.
They give the ball to Seymour on the jet. And slips a little bit, gets back across the 40.
Looks like that grass is starting to get some dew on it. There's quite a few guys that are starting to slip and slide around there a little bit. Coach Diener really running the subs in. Seymour and Drake Sparks come out, along with, looks like big Connor Noor. And then about every snap, he's got 3 or 4 going in and 3 or 4 coming out. So.
As the play clock's down to 7 seconds, game clock down to 5 minutes. As Austin Goldsmith, he's going to be close to a first down. And this is kind of nice to see, being able to have these options. As we're going to have a timeout on the field. As they're going to measure the spot. So next week the McPherson Bullpups comes in, as it will be, I guess it will be the true test of the defensive backfield for the Blazers. Is that safe to say?
Well, I think it'll be a very good test for the Blazers. But you know, the Blazers have seen some awful good quarterbacks already this year. Starting with East St. Louis, I don't know that there was a kid a lot better, more talented than that quarterback, and certainly their running game. The quarterback for Bishop Miege, he's not going to take a back seat to too many kids.
No, he's not. He's a serious dual threat.
And he's serious, and he's probably a D1 dual threat as well. And then you've got Mr. Fugate in here this evening. Those are three pretty good guys that the Blazer defense have had to see. And the Matthew kid, of course, he was just absolutely phenomenal last year. Now, I haven't checked his statistics, and to see they've suffered from graduation of some linemen as well.
Austin Goldsmith on the counter. He gets up to the line of scrimmage on 3rd and an inch. And looks like they're going to mark this one right at the 30-yard line, which will be enough for the first down.
Quick handoff from Hobby to Goldsmith.
Ryan, I don't care how good a quarterback you are and how good a thrower you are. It's you know, that all goes out the window if you've got defensive linemen and defensive pressure all over you every time you try to make the pass. So last year he had an unbelievable line that really did a nice job giving him time and protection, and so we'll see if the Blazers can rise to the challenge next week and put some heat on Mr. Matthews. But nevertheless, it's going to be an awful good football game.
And I'll tell you what, Blazers come to play as we know they will, and if they're able to pull that game out, they're going to be on a roll heading into the districts.
Oh, no question about it.
So that, you know, we talked about, as we have a timeout on the field, we talked about how much momentum the Blazers can get from this game. Imagine how much momentum they get from next week's game if they pull a win out on that one.
Well, you know, what a schedule for the Blazers. The year after you graduate, probably the greatest talent this school. Well, I don't think there's hardly any question that was the greatest football team in the history of this Blazer high school. Was last year's team, led by Bubba Starling, Brett Jensen, Kyle Pacheco. I mean, just go on and on. Lucas Powell. There were some big time, Alex Knorr, big time players on that field, and then to bounce back the year after and play the kind of open in East St.
Louis, yes.
And then to play the likes of all of your EKL opponents, and then you're going to bring McPherson in. That's unbelievable. It's a ridiculous schedule for a team that's now headed by in the backfield by a couple of sophomores primarily. So. They're growing up, though.
As they say, the future is bright.
Yes.
So it's going to be 1st and 10 for the Blazers. Clock at 4:08. Seymour in motion on the jet. Fake the handoff, give it to Hobby, or to Wrench. And Wrench gets across the line of scrimmage.
Give him 10 more, Ryan.
Well, I give him about 8. Give him about 8. As we have an injured Husky down on the field. Looks like that's Logan Rozier. And Logan Rozier is quite the big man. 6 foot, no, that can't be him. 6 foot 165, I don't think so. I thought I saw a 73, but evidently.
Well, that's too bad because we've got 3:54 to go in the ball game, and we've been injury-free this whole game, and so to get this level, or to get to this stage of the game with a 29-point difference, it's just too bad that you have anybody get hurt at this point.
And he's grabbing the knee, so hopefully everything will turn out, maybe get a little bit of twist. And one thing that Coach Diener's talked about, how big of a loss it is for Mason Rogers to be out with his ACL tear, and he's out for the season, and that's another hard thing, and you know that he's going to be missing out his senior year, and that's going to be Demetrius Anthony, 6'3", 223, as Duck's down there with Principal Brady, and let's get with Tim real quick, since we weren't able to get him during the pregame. Yeah, let's just get his thoughts on the game.
Okay, Mr. Brady, Ryan's want to know, since you weren't up there during the pregame, they kind of want to get your thoughts on the game. What do you think so far?
This has been an impressive performance. And we were worried about this game. Coming off kind of a lackluster performance against Miege, but getting back home is always a good thing, and it feels good. And we'd like to kind of punch it in here one last time, though. Well, kind of send a message to EKL that we're alive and well here in Gardner, Kansas.
Hey, Duck, ask him about moving up to 6A, his thoughts on that.
What are your thoughts on moving up to 6A?
We were well prepared to beat 6A. We knew this was going to happen. We were only 5A for 12 years, which is kind of amazing. It seems like we went from 5 to 6 pretty quickly. But we've got the kids, the facilities, the coaches, the staff to be successful at the 6A level. And we just got regional seedings now for volleyball. It looks like we'll be matched up with the Olathe schools and the Lawrence schools. So I do anticipate those becoming rivals down the road with all the Olathe high schools and the Lawrence high schools.
On that note, it's not just exciting for us fans because we're going to see some pretty good ball games. But what about the coach? Have you talked to them? How excited are they?
Matt Yeaman's our wrestling coach. He's pretty excited about moving to 6A. Daryl Wade, our volleyball coach, is pretty excited about it. And part of that is, there's some perennial powerhouses in 5A, particularly in wrestling and in volleyball. Track will be a good move for us. Soccer's good in both 5 and 6A. Looks like we're going to have a touchdown here. We get it?
Seymour with the spin does the little ballerina dance at the 1 yard line, and they're going to mark him out of bounds just short of the 1. So Tim Seymour on back-to-back carries gets the ball down to the 1 yard line as the Blazers have a first and goal from the 1, 2:57 to go in the game, leading 36-7. Principal Tim Brady down on the sideline joining us. Usually get him on the halftime, but weren't able to do that, or during the pregame, but you weren't able to do that today. Power right set, Seymour in the tailback, bounces it to the outside, touchdown Blazers.
Boy, that's really good to see for Tim Seymour. I think Tim, at least when we saw him as a freshman, sophomore coming up the ranks, Ryan, we thought he was the heir apparent at tailback. Of course, that was before Trayvon Wrench sprung upon the scene. And it's good to see Timmy get back in there at that tailback position. And he can still run it, obviously. And that was a kind of a Seymour drive there, the last 25 yards on that particular series. So Tim gets it in the end zone, bounced outside, looked a little Trayvon Wrench-esque there as he popped in and showed off some speed.
So the extra point is good. 2:54 to go in the game. Blazers lead by a score of 43-7. We'll be back with a kickoff. You're listening to the Blazer Broadcast Network on 810 Varsity Sports.
These are just a few of the sponsors of the Blazer Broadcast Network.
Pizza Hut. Got your iPhone? Order Pizza Hut. PizzaHut.com.
Cook Family Chiropractic. If your student is in need of a sports physical, Dr. Brian Cook can get it done for you. Call Dr. Cook at 856-0200.
Trails West Ace Hardware and Feed. Check out their new paint department, including their new paint tinter and Clark's and Kensington paint and primer in one. Trails West Ace Hardware and Feed, 240 North Moonlight in Gardner.
These are just a few of the sponsors of the Blazer Broadcast Network.
Brian Ragland, Dave Webb, Duck and Wally back with you here at the Trails West Ace Hardware and Feed broadcast booth. Blazers scored on their 5th consecutive possession on a 1 yard touchdown run by Tim Seymour to give the Blazers a 43-7 lead as Chase Lee's kicking the ball off deep as it's going to roll into the end zone.
How about that powertrain? We've heard that a lot tonight, haven't we? Yeah.
Starting to feel a little good.
The crowd is getting back into this. Is, of course, that was uncharted waters for Blazer Nation there a couple of weeks ago on the short end of a 34-0 pasting by Miege. But, boy, the Blazers bounce back here in the next home game, 43-7. They're up with 2:53 to go against a Blue Valley Northwest team that come in here 3-1 and with a couple of really nice games against some really good football competition. So a game I know we were all leery of, but boy, the Blazers are giving a great account of themselves. Both sides of the football tonight, Ryan.
Right. Williams with the ball. We're going to get with Coach Henry at the end of the game. since we weren't able to get with him coming out of the locker room at the half, and he's got to be really happy with the way his team has shown up, especially in the last 2 weeks.
Well, I tell you, this was an offense. This was a team that we really knew was an offensive powerhouse, and
as Bailiff gets sidestepped by Williams, or excuse me, by Mitchell, as Connor Bailiff now see, that's what I'm telling you. You go for where he's going to be, not where he's at, because that's what Bailiff did, and he whiffed.
Yep,
He missed him.
There you go. Works on both sides of the ball then.
Yes,
huh?
it does. I
Yep.
keep trying to tell you.
Yep. Well, we've got some second stringers in there. Looks like now Plank's going to get subbed in for by looks like that's Blake Goff, a 6 foot, 180-pound sophomore.
As Swales tries to get around to the outside, he's going to get a couple yards and met up by a bunch of blue shirts as the clock continues to run at 1:50 to go in the game.
A guy that just continues to impress me on this defensive side of the football is Justin Long, Ryan. He is a kid that is he's about as sure tackler in the open field as we've seen since Dion Shump. Dion was kind of that way last year, but Justin has really done a nice job this year, playing a position at the varsity level for the first time, and boy, is he taking advantage of it and really making his presence felt out there.
Windsor dropping back to pass. Starks with the reception. Brought down at the 45-yard line. And it's going to move the chains for a first down for the Huskies.
I think that was Riley Craig in there on the tackle, number 18, doing a nice job. Riley, his first year at Gardner-Edgerton High School, transferred in from Maranatha High School, so good to see him getting some action. And Riley's a good-looking kid. Boy,
he fills the uniform out well.
He sure does. 6'1", 180 pounds.
Windsor dropping back to pass, complete at Swales, just past the 50-yard line on the slant. Nice job.
Big hit by
Windsor, and then Winkler coming in, lowering the boom on Wales.
Yep, nice play by Alex Winkler. Great timing.
So clock running at 40 seconds. Windsor looking deep to the right side. He's got a man wide open, but he threw it short. Peavy House on the coverage. And it's going to be caught at the 20-yard line.
Boy, you're up 43-7. You give up the underneath route at this stage of the game, and you just you bait him into throwing the long one and then run under it. Colton getting a little too aggressive. Maybe Colton's going for the pick six. Thought he was going to jump that short route and take it to the house, but he almost got beat.
Windsor looking off to pass complete to Starks at the 18-yard line. Tries to spin around down at the 15. Clock running at 26.
Luis Avila doing a nice job again out there in the open field. He did just what we said, let him catch the ball underneath and then come up and make a nice sure tackle.
Clock set in 11 seconds, possibly the last play of the game. On the slant to Swales, brought down, and it's going to be enough for the first down. 5.5 seconds left. And I'll tell you right now, Windsor runs that 2-minute offense pretty well, and he was kind of a little bit out of sync when he first came in, but he's shown very well here. As he's going to go for a corner route, as the pass is going to be good and complete for the touchdown to Austin Moses. Colton Peavyhouse on the coverage, going for a corner route as Austin Moses went up and got it. And I'll tell you right now, Moses check that, Windsor has shown something, as after Fugate graduates this year, they've got a pretty good quarterback in Windsor coming up.
Windsor had the benefit of not having Eric Moore and the rest of that starting defensive line breathing down his neck too. So he had some time back there, and I'm sure Mr. Fugate would have looked a little bit better if he hadn't been wearing Marcus Williams, Jimmy Orwick, and
the rest of them on his chest.
Yeah, Dalton Kirk's number all night long.
So the extra point by Gaddy is good, and that's going to be into the ball game.
Nice.
43-14 is the final.
An impressive victory for the Blazers tonight, Ryan. 43-14 really sets the stage for a big night in Blazer Nation at the District Activity Complex here next Friday at 7 o'clock against the McPherson Bullpups, who we anticipate to probably come in as the number 2 or 3 ranked team in Class 5A with a Division I quarterback and a 5-0 glossy 5-0 record.
As Duck is down on the sideline, he's going to get with Coach Henry here real quick. As we'll talk with Coach Henry and Coach Diener tomorrow morning live at Wally's for the Coaches Show at 9 o'clock. As Coach Henry's walking back now. And see if we can get Duck over there.
How about Wally on the stats tonight?
He's doing good.
Huh?
We'll get Duck's down there with Coach Henry.
Hey, Coach Henry. Not a bad night for the Blazer defense. Granted, you wouldn't want to give up that score there at the end of the game, but how are you pleased with your defense tonight?
You know, I thought we prepared well this week, and our kids, you know, I thought we overwhelmed them at times with our blitz package and our coverage and mixing it up a little bit. And, you know, I thought our kids executed for the most part pretty well.
What was the talk at halftime? I mean, you were playing a pretty good half there. You go into halftime with a lead. You don't want to come out and give it up, but what was the talk at halftime with your defense?
You know, we told them we were playing really well. We added a wrinkle to 2 blitzes, and, you know, we come out and use that quite a bit in the second half. And, you know, we just told them we had to keep playing and finish the game right. All
right, Coach, you got a big game next week. Congratulations on this one. We'll see you next week.
Thanks, Doc.
Duck Martin down on the sideline doing a stellar job. And, I think you're fitting in very, very well, Ducks.
Well, dude, when you got Wally around, you got to do good.
Exactly. Well, hey, you got to do good for the sponsors, correct?
Hey, it's always a great day to be a Blazer.
Exactly. We're going to take a timeout, start the America's Computers postgame show. Blazers win 43-14. We'll be back in just a little bit. You're listening to the Blazer Broadcast Network on 810 Varsity Sports.
You've been listening to Blazer Football on the Blazer Broadcast Network. Blazer Football is brought to you by Ace Dent Removal, All Rental, America's Computers, Anytime Fitness, Big O Tire, Cook Family Chiropractic, Gardner National Bank, Golden Goose Floral, Hickman Heating and Air, Integrity Communications, Pizza Hut, Prestige Poker League, Trails West Ace Hardware and Feed, and Wally's Bar and Grill. Stay tuned. The America's Computer postgame show is next on the Blazer Broadcast Network.
In Gardner, the only place you need to know for all of your computer needs is America's Computers. John Alverson is one of the best you're going to find anywhere. Whether it's for your laptop or PC, John will take care of it. John can help you with repairs, tune-ups, and spyware to keep your computer running the best it can. Busy schedule and can't make it in? John even makes house calls. Now tell me, where are you going to find a computer shop that does that? So when your computer is acting up, running slow, or even if you have a question, call John Alverson at America's Computers at 1835 East Santa Fe, just west of the Super 8. Give John a call at 856-6789. That's 856-6789. America's Computers.
Hi, I'm Kurt Lockwood, a student at Caney Valley High School. Between academics and extracurricular activities, there's never a boring moment in my high school life. Without extracurricular activities, I would not be gaining the numerous skills that will last me a lifetime. I'm taking the road less traveled and enjoying every minute. This has been a message from the Kansas State High School Activities Association and the Student Advisory Team.
These are just a few of the sponsors of the Blazer Broadcast Network.
Ace Dent Removal. For a free estimate to remove your hail dents and door dings, call Terry at 485-2524. That's 485-2524.
Trails West Ace Hardware and Feed. Check out the new look in the all-new merchandise and the expanded paint and garden departments. Trails West Ace Hardware and Feed, 240 North Moonlight in Gardner.
Anytime Fitness. See Doug for their great membership prices. Call 856-0100.
These are just a few of the sponsors of the Blazer Broadcast Network.
Ryan Ragel and Dave Webb, Duck and Wally back with you here at the Trails West Ace Hardware and Feed broadcast booth after the Blazers win 43-14 over a very good Blue Valley Northwest team. Blazers came out with a 9-0 lead after a safety and a touchdown in the first quarter, came back and led 22-7 as the Huskies, as their only score was on a, in the first half, was on a pass after an interception from Fugate to Starks for 49 yards on the first play after the interception to go up to cut the lead down to 12-7. But Trayvon Wrench with a 24-yard touchdown run brought the score up to 19-7, and then Chase Lee with a field goal from 25 yards out to close the first half to make it 22-7. And then the Blazers continue to score on their 5-possession streak as Trayvon Wrench then scored on a 4-yard touchdown run, make it 29-7. A 2-yard touchdown run, 36-7. Tim Seymour with the 1-yard touchdown run, 43-7. And then it was a 11-yard touchdown pass to Austin Moses from Alec Windsor to make the final score 43-14. So now the Blazers look ahead to next week, which is going to be another great test over a very, very good McPherson team, as Coach Tom Young will bring the Bullpups of McPherson here to Gardner, as the Blazers won a close game last year in McPherson on a 4th and 11 on a tip pass that could have tied the score, as the Blazers won that one, as the Bullpups will have a Division I quarterback, Tyler Matthews, and as we talked about, Tyler Matthews in the ESPNU Top 150, and if you might have seen him over the summer on the 7-on-7 in Florida earlier this summer, I'm telling you, the kid did very, very well for himself and is orally committed to TCU last year as a junior. So, and if you want to know if Tyler, everyone talked about, well, is Bubba Starling everything that everything we talked about? And yeah, he was. Is Tyler Matthew everything that we talked about? Yeah, he is. Kid's pretty good.
And he's going to do it with his arm. He's not going to do it with his legs nearly like Bubba did. But, yeah, he's pretty special. And obviously you're getting offered and accept to TCU your junior year. Those people do pretty solid player evaluations, so they're not going to offer some kind of a scholarship to somebody that isn't qualified. So, yeah, we're looking forward to it. That'll be a long trip for McPherson. No, it's the first time they've been to Gardner-Edgerton High School, just as it was Gardner-Edgerton High School first time that we had visited McPherson last year. So obviously,
I'm not sure if they can adapt themselves to a 2-foot crown, though.
No, but I'm sure they will travel well, and we look forward to hosting the Red from McPherson, and we played a few times on the basketball court in recent years, but it'd be special to play them here and invite them, host them, and hopefully beat them on the football field.
Can you imagine McPherson going down to 4A if Tyler Matthews was not graduating this year? I'm not sure that would be fair.
Yeah, that'd be tough.
So I want to say a huge thanks to Wally with Wally's Neighborhood Bar and Grill, pulling double duty, bringing us the pregame meal, and keeping the stats that we just can't do without.
I tell you what, he was I don't know which he was best at, bringing that incredible food or doing the food. Your Ducks and the food. I'm with you on that.
Well,
he did a great job on the stats, but I'm telling you, that food. Yeah, you didn't even get to see the stats.
Yeah, Doug doesn't care. As long as he gets the food, he's all right with that. Real quick, taking a look at the stats. Trayvon Wrench coming up with 31 carries, 323 yards. Check that. Looks like 3 touchdowns. Some of the other ones, Tim Seymour with 7 carries, 44 yards. Jared Hobby, 5 out of 13 for 90 yards. Austin Goldsmith had a kickoff return that came back for 70 yards to set up good field position on the opening kickoff. Penalty-wise, 4 for the Blazers for 35 yards, 5 for Blue Valley Northwest, 5 for 25 yards. Marlon Mitchell had 13 carries for 26 yards, as Garrett Fugate came in with 8 of 20, 154 yards. So the Huskies had a hard time getting any kind of running game going, and the Blazers doing a nice job defensively to pretty much shut down a very talented Jared Fugate. So the Blazers come up with a 43-14 win. We're headed to Wally's for overtime. Ducks headed over there. I'm headed. Dave, I know you're not headed over there. Honey, is it early? 9:35. It's pretty early. Yes, it is. So Ducks headed over there. Some of the Blazer players will be over there, and then tomorrow morning at 9 o'clock, we'll have the coaches show live from Wally's Neighborhood Bar and Grill as It's always a good way to start a weekend after a Blazer win. And then Monday, don't forget, a $7 barbecue basket special at Wally's for the film night with Coach Diener, as he will dissect this game and tell you everything that went right, the things that went wrong. And then he'll kind of preview a little bit of the McPherson game and talk about how good Tom Young is with his bullpup. So want to thank again everyone for helping out. Doug on the sidelines, Wally for the pregame meal, and for keeping the stats, and for, I think we were going for Super Dave Spider Webb is what Duck decided he was going to go with. So for Dave, Duck, and Wally, Ryan Ragland saying thanks for joining us. We'll see you tomorrow morning, 9 o'clock for the Coaches Show, and then Friday night back here at Gardner at 6 o'clock as the Bullpups of McPherson come in to take on the Blazers. Good night, everybody.